Hello, try that again. Hello, good evening, and welcome to the latest edition, Game Week 21, Season 15 of the Super League. Apologies for the late start. Life was being lived, and unfortunately these things happen. But we're here, we're good to go. Teams are locked, loaded, and the drama is about to unfold. Understandably, Duggan, who had volunteered comms, it's a late start, so understandably he said apologies, but he won't be able to stay on that late. So I was like, no problem, we will go ourselves. And it just means that I get to play the background music while the games are being played, which I know so many of you have enjoyed in the past. So we will do it again. And of course, we've also got the future of the Super League to discuss as well. But that's for then. This is now. Let's get going straight off the bat. And I hope many of you would have caught the latest edition of Limbs, where we announced that Stanley Duo, Mr. Savage, and Mr. Scalco picked up Manager and Player of the Month, while Dudley Hill's Joe Cole picked up Young Player of the Month. Will they be able to maintain that form? You quiet, or do I need to turn the volume up? I don't think I'm quiet. Is anyone else having volume issues? Everything looks like it's connected okay for me. Let me know though if it's something I'm doing wrong. I can see Paul, Ian, Steve as well, all in the chat. Good evening, gentlemen. Yes, so I hope you caught the latest edition of Limbs. It was a decent one, actually. I enjoyed recording last night with Mr. Smuts. I'm looking forward to Sunday, whatever Sunday shall bring. I'm still thinking foot golf, although for the second day, he has let me down with anything that resembles information. Let's get straight into it then. And we are starting with Stackington versus Sancte. That requires some acoustic, cinematic music, I think. This game sees 12th place Stackington, 25 points, 5 off the playoff places after the mental run they've been on of late. Host Sancte, who are in that 6th spot currently. For the home side then, the formation looks the same. There are slight tweaks each time though. Interesting choice for me sees Morientes playing in this sort of AM role with Sand, who's been in decent form actually of late. 3 goals in 4 starts and 2 sub appearances, starting up top. It's a lot to do with that DM line. I've said it a few times recently, I know, but since that's looked stronger, Stackington have looked better. I don't personally think that's a coincidence. As for the away side then, they make changes as well. If we look, the formation is the same. Jorgatos comes in on the left with Kuhl moving forward, back dropping to the bench. Owen and Inzaghi have swapped sides. Petit comes in to DM. Yes, Jens, I'll absolutely do Vikings next. Absolutely. It would, if I thought about it, to be fair, mate, you would have been first. Ndai moves central. Petit comes into that right DM role. Last time out for them was the 2-1 defeat at home to Badgers. Throw your predictions in the chat as we feel like I'm on hold to the bank. Yeah, don't worry, mate. Every game gets a different piece of music. Kicking off game 1, and Inzaghi isn't wasting any time. 8 minutes on the clock, and it's 1-0 to the away side. I mean, I was discussing I mentioned the Stackington DM line as Eddie Sand scores again. The form this boy is in at the moment. But it can't be underestimated. He scored again. The form of Shay Given since he's come in has transformed Stackington as well. Evening, Alex, you haven't missed anything, mate. This is the first game of the night. We're approaching half-time. It is currently 2-1 to the home side, and there is the half-time whistle. Match stats, Sancte have had more attempts, but both sides have had the same amount on target. Pass completion, exactly the same. Tackles won, virtually the same. Stackington slightly better in the air. Looking at the home side, they've got a couple of sixes in there, and it's actually the two central DMs who are rating the lowest with the sixes. Majority sevens throughout with 2 8s. Unsurprisingly, one for the man with the brace, Ebby Sand. As for Sancte, it just doesn't look as good for them, although Duggan has reacted instantly, saying as is, so credit to him making that call before it even flashed his ratings up on the screen. Ross also going as is, so we will go straight to it. Inzaghi, the goal scorer, the only player on an 8, a couple of 5s in there, is interesting reading. So let's get straight on with the second half then and see if we have more goals. A load of time flies by, so we pause it. What's with the music? If I go solo, it's something we added in earlier in the season, Alex. We'll just play a bit of music in the background to drown out my voice. Although again, let me know the levels if the music is actually outdoing my voice or if it's balanced about right. I've only got it set on 34 out of 100, so it should be okay. Shay Given, I mentioned him in the first half. He's on 9. Takanadi though dropping to a 5, so literally all sorts going on for Stackington here. Fitness-wise, no issues. Discipline-wise, no issues. So it's just whether the performance levels are there for Ross. As for Sancte, Stam and Campbell both still on 5s, a couple of 6s in there as well. Campbell also on a yellow. Conditional wise though, nobody in any danger, and Duggan has reacted quickly. So Kuhl to ML. Jorgatos for back. And push Amber and Ndai into the field. No arrows. I'm presuming you want Petit moving over. Unfortunately, Paul, no, because they will be copyrighted. However, if anyone does know any budding musicians who would like to supply some in-game music for the Super League, or possibly even FRI, I would certainly be interested to hear from them. They can send in samples and we can get them uploaded to StreamYard and they will be good to go. Oh, right, okay, yeah, now I see. No, that's fine, Duggan. No worries at all. So what you actually want that is correct, but you want Ndai in there and Petit moving into centre midfield. No worries at all. As for Ross, Takanadi is off for Emerson, and Morientes for Kesman. No worries at all. Let's see what the final 25 minutes or so of this game has to offer them. Oh, it's going to be tense. And we're into injury time. Is there one last chance? It's back! It's a good save! And it's a final whistle. And what an opening result. Not just for these two teams, but for the entire league. Stackington have closed the gap on the top 6. What a run they are on. Sancte drop points. What an What an incentive that is for the rest of the teams. Sancte maintained having the most chances, but they were quite wasteful. Only 50% of their attempts on target. Pass completion remained very similar. Tackle completion remained very similar. But you have to say, in the performance indicators, Stackington just about shaded it. Evening Tato, who's joined the chat. And there's Smuts realising he's now finishing 12th. Quick look at the team stats. As Ross says, unlucky. Stackington in form at the moment. They certainly are. And the subs even having an impact. Ebisan, unsurprisingly, man of the match. Inzaghi put in a good performance. Kjell did alright as well. But apart from that, by their usual standards, Sancte just falling a bit average in the end, unfortunately for them. A good opening game. We're not going to burn Foss. I want to go to Vikings, and that means we get a change of music. Let's go to Daydreaming for the Vikings game at home to Fulchester. As you can see, Cafu, if you remember back to the last episode, Cafu went off injured. He is unavailable for this game. He's replaced by Patsazoglu. Arnold Brugink comes in as well for Brozek in 2 changes from the last game. Good evening, Alf. Vikings start this game 8 points clear at the top of the table. They've already passed the 40 points mark. It's only because there's so many games left to play that they don't have the queue, but realistically they have got the queue. Last time out they did, however, lose 2-0 to Exiles. They face a Fulchester side who are without David Beckham for this one. Okan comes in. Everything else remains the same, despite the fact that they lost 2-1 away to Dudley Hill in their last game, which means their team looks like this. Again, please do send your predictions into the chat as we enter game 2 of the night. Vikings hosting Fulchester. There's Thierry Henry's 15th goal of the season to give the league leaders a 1-0 lead. Alex predicting 1-1 in the chat. I'm seeing the referee's name, Mr. Breeze, mentioned a couple of times, but not too many cards dished out, it seems like. As I say that, one is dished out just there. And Vikings so close to making it 2, and they do make it 2. No, it's been ruled off. Henry was offside, and half-time it is 1-0 to the home side, who've had twice the amount of attempts on goal. They've had 3 times the amount of attempts on target of their opposition. They are demolishing them on passes, virtually level on tackles, and, well, Fulchester might as well not bother in the air looking at those ratings. Only Emerson is on a 6. Evening, Mike. You've only missed Sancte lose 2-1 away at Stackington thus far. Yes, only Emerson, the captain, on a 6. Everyone else 7 or above. The goal scorer Thierry Henry rating a 9 at half time, and that prompts Jens to say as is. Over at Fulchester, and I don't believe Macca makes Thursday night shows anyway. It's a London night. He's left no instructions this time, so we will continue on with this very average looking performance. I say average. Nicholas Anelka certainly isn't average, and he has levelled things up 1 apiece. And we pause the game with Vikings having a corner. Jeremy's the only player for them in the book. Everyone 7 or above, with the exception now of Arnold Brujink, who's dropped to a 6. Condition-wise, everything looks absolutely fine. While Jens, it's for the benefit of Maka. 6s and 7s throughout. Lucio the only player in the book. And again, no concerns with condition. And with no instructions, we will just wait for Jens to advise. Here we go. And it is Sokoviak for Emerson. And swap him with Nedved. No problem. Still looks like Vikings are the team putting the pressure on. And there was an Elka though on the counter-attack. Fulchester are dangerous on that counter. CC goes in the book. Into the final few minutes of this game. Is there drama? Robin? Anelka? Could save, and it's a corner. Serginho, Robin, and another block. And there's the full-time whistle. And in the end, the league leaders were hanging on just a little bit, but that's another point on the board for them. Fulchester ending that game very strong, and certainly encouragement for their boss and fans. Paredes picks up man of the match. Tato saying Vikings still barely conceding. Very true. They do have a mean defence. Despite not losing, Jens says that we are terrible. Good night, mate, and thank you for sticking with us for the later than advertised start. Fulchester's performance levels did improve a little bit, with only 3 players ending up on a 6. And yes, Alex, you were right. 1-1. Game number 3 sees us go to Exiles versus East Coast. And that means we go to Feeding the Ducks music. Exiles go as is from their last game, so sticking with this 3 up top formation. I did see that Vieri was being lauded by the press in between games. They take on East Coast in what could be a fascinating game. Viduka and Zanetti unavailable. They make one change, and that was that Bishkan replaced Michelini, who drops to the bench. So again, throw your scores into the chat, please, as we kick off a massive game, 7th against 8th. If either win, I'm just trying to quickly do a count. If either win, they move into the top 6 after Sancte's result earlier. Alex saying East Coast win for me. Smut's asking for both teams to lose. Of course, that Stackington result makes it very interesting now, doesn't it? And Coast on 27 do take the lead, and it's Hussein with what could be a massive goal in the season, not just for his team. Tato saying 0-0, it's rocks. It will not finish 0-0. I can assure you of that. An entertaining first half despite the lack of goals. 11 attempts between the two sides. Quite wasteful though, with only 5 on target between them. The performance indicators though look reasonably good, although perhaps Exiles will worry about their tackle percentages. Looking at the ratings, it's a bit of all sorts going on. We've got a couple of 6s, we've got a couple of 8s, the majority 7s throughout. but a fairly even spread of where the ball is. So everyone is involved. No one standing out as a conditional problem, although maybe just keep an eye on Cmsl 85. As for East Coast, the ratings look slightly better. Just Uliano, the only player on a 6, everyone else 7 or above. Mendes is in the book, and there is no one with a issue fitness-wise, and that prompts Dimble to say as is. I don't believe Rox is here as of yet. I don't think I've seen his name, but I will just give him the 20 seconds up till the next minute on my clock before we resume the action. It's going to be a nervy game, this. Doesn't look like there's anything coming through from Rox, so we will resume there. A draw would make the whole table very, very interesting. And we pause it as Vieri goes in the book, the only Exiles player in the book. Everyone rating 7 or above, with the exception of Cordova, who is on a 6. Cmsl's dropped now to 78%. Nothing else much to discuss there from an Exiles perspective. Let's look over at Coast, who still only have Mendes in the book, who have everyone rating 7 or above still except Uliano, and still do not have anyone who I personally would be worried about from a conditional perspective. Let us know as the night goes on as well. Which of any of these musics playing in the background do you actually like, or is there any that you really don't like? And then moving forward, you know, there's potential we can work with that. Dimble again going as is, no worries at all. And all the time going by without anything happening. Exiles trying to make something happen at the death, but they can't. And East Coast it is who takes advantage of earlier results to move their way into the top 6. It was a fairly even game overall. Exiles not having enough about them on the night to get a result that would have been very, very good for them. Especially when you consider the start they made to the season. East Coast thanked their goalkeeper for his man of the match performance. Important win for the Green Juggernauts, and Dimble saying, I won an even game. Tam's not a fan of the music, she's put her pods in. Okay, I apologise to Tams. Whereas Alex feels like he's in a Portuguese hotel reception. I'm so glad that you've adopted the Super League, Alex, to come back to. I know you said you watched it you watched either this or I can't remember what the Dundee United thing was that Boise used to do, but I'm glad that you found us again and you're able to enjoy it. Northern Burn versus Foss Road next. Let's change the music. This time we're going to Into Space with this one. Northern Burn then, as the hosts, they are without the suspended Turan. They line up like this. So it's Carlos and Duff out in the wing-back areas. Mourinho partners Montero. Keane in his traditional position. Fiore obviously starts next to Totti. Scholes and Ortega supporting Montella. I thought we changed this already. Clivert was injured. So Franca it was, I believe. Smuts was still there, just confirm it was Franca. And we did change this because you wanted Hoffman for Lawson as well. Everything else I believe to be correct. Yeah, Hoffland, yeah. He's asking Ian to be gentle. Game number 4? Oh, for fuck's sake. Sorry, the Vieira one came through after I'd already clicked start. I can change it at half-time if you want me to. We are at half-time, and of the games, that is the least interesting first half we've had, which I'm actually sure Smuts will take, to be fair. Got something to blame the defeat on. Yeah, not much to report on in that first half at all. Let's have a look at the home side first, who, despite being largely ineffectual by their usual standards, their ratings are actually decent, with only Scholes on a 6, everyone else on a 7, Montero on an 8, and Ian going as is. No worries. As for yourself, I have swapped the captain Smuts over to Vieira, who is one of only 2 players, include the other one being a returning Kevin Hoffland, to be rating an 8 at half-time. Alex saying, come on, the Foss. Alex, we still need to arrange a proper meet-up for you and Smuts, don't we? As the Leicester massive. I'm sure I'd be allowed to tag along as well as a Leicester resident. Smuts going as is till 60. Al's saying I should sleep tonight. This music and my pillow spray. Good. Glad I can help you sleep. Do you think I've got one of them ASMR voices? Do you think I'd be good at that kind of thing? Maybe when it's time to hang up my Super League boots, my sheepskin coat and my microphone, maybe I should go into ASMR voiceovers and audiobooks. We've got to 60 minutes, still 0-0. Mike Duff up to a 9, Montero up to a 9 as well, showing that there are some standout performances despite it not being a necessarily a classic game. Steve, I can't speak for shit at the minute. Alf, please don't make it worse. Ian going as is. No worries at all. And for yourself, Smuts? He's got enough time just to send Steer Diddums in the chat. Hoffland, the only player in the book, no one of any conditional note. A spread of 6s, 7s, and 8s throughout. Tato asking Alf if it's a lavender spray. What is pillow spray? Asked Dimble. Chewy coming off for Franca. That will do. The bench does look poor from Foss, to be fair, Alex. You are right. Oh, he had to score and he hasn't. I was right. I'm not saying what I was going to say because I don't want to be blamed for jinxing something happening. Oh, Gerard moved too quick. We're into injury time. Santa Cruz was offside. Duff, are they going to win it in injury time? Totti, Ortega. Enigma Tulin catches it. And are they going on the counter? Final whistle. Foss Road get a result away from home against Northern Burn, which, considering some of the other results, it's not ideal, but it's not the worst result in the world. Northern Burn dropping points. I just don't know who this result suits more. Tato and Alpha discussing their love of lavender. Oh, Tato, you do make me laugh. Jessica still... Is Jessica some sort of TikTok dancer? Well, Foss Road have limited burn to 1 attempt on goal? What a performance. Only Skulls rating below a 7 for burn. Buffon ending up on a 9. Returning Kevin Hoffland despite being in the book. How has he got man of the match on an 8? When Buffon on a 9? Stupid game, for fuck's sake. But definitely something for Foss Road to build on there. They will be hoping some other results go their way, though, for the rest of the evening. We are going to Sloths versus Dudley Hill next in game 5 of the evening. John Terry out, sees Jonathan Woodgate come in, and the other change sees Constantinou take Salas's place on the bench, meaning Dudley look like this. 70 odd line dancers in my area, Tato says. Sloths move things around again, particularly in the midfield. So it's Baronio Holland who needs the armband, and Zidane behind Adilson, Rivaldo, and Etzeberria. Trezeguet starts with Impenza failing a late fitness test. Maybe I need to get on TikTok if this is the sort of discussion being had. Oh, that's Ghost Gamed. Okay, we're going to Stanley Haggis then. Manager and player of the month. Sigalko starts. Mike is here, obviously. The only change sees Robbie Savage return to the substitutes bench. The starting 11 remains the same. For Haggis, very similar for them too. Perez comes in for Zenden, who drops to the bench. Don't worry, Steve, I'm trying to get through this at a fair rate of knots for you. Kicking off, Stanley versus Haggis. Now, this is a big game for everyone chasing. Which one of these sides drops points? Could both sides drop points? It's more than beyond the realms of possibility. Approaching half-time. Alex predicting 2-0 in the chat. Samuel is captain. No worries. So, match stats, and Stanley have been absolutely bossing this one. 6 attempts, 6 on target, but failing to convert. Haggis not looking at it so far this evening. Seedorf, Pinto, Sigalko all on 6s. Everyone else 7s or 8s. No yellow cards. And nobody below seemingly 89% condition for the home side at half-time. As for Haggis, no spicy Cuenca there, rating a 9. 6s littered throughout as well. Again, no one in the referee's notebook. And Perez, the lowest rated condition at 88%. Mr. Savage going as is. He sees enough to think that this side can win it. Ian also saying roll to 60. No worries at all. Your cat would be a sensation on TikTok, Fyfie, doing the next Super League draft. I'm not so sure. Pinto goes in the book. Samuel goes in the book. Feisty game, this one. Oh, there's a red. And it's for Ibrahim Saeed on 55 minutes. So before we would stop it for the tactical break, Haggis go down to 10. Of course, Mike, that means you have the facility to change it. Oh, excuse me. or you may just wish to wait until the 60-minute mark where we will stop it again. Ross has already replied or posted. My kids are still awake. Just seeing all the comments going in on X. Just reply to some Facebook messages while I wait. Doesn't this look like an underdog haggis win, says Mike. Here we go. So the change is coming before the tactical break. It's Chelsea for Del Vecchio. Back to DM, arrows off. So haggis are going to look like this going forward. Mike, if you could just confirm if you'd like to do anything or if you're going to wait till 60, please. Till 60, lovely, thank you. Or when I say 60, we obviously mean 66. Gary Neville, rating 9. Is Seedorf and Pinto the only players below a 7? Did I change the music for this game? I feel like I've been listening to this for ages. I don't think I did. Let's change it now. We'll flash the haggis stats up at the same time in case they want to make any additional changes here. For those keeping score, this one is called Lo-Fi. So Mike goes first. And in a change that would only happen in the Super League, Clarence Seedorf off, Robbie Savage on. Haggis react. Zenden is coming for Perez. Oh, I hope this game finishes quick because this music's already doing my head in. Oh, we've got a second change come through. Casas coming on for Quede. Let's see what the last 20 minutes has to offer them. This could be settled by the one goal. Into the final 10 minutes. João Pinto with a huge chance. Oh, wow. Haggis down to 9 men. No subs left. And of course, again, Mike, you can react. You can change things if you want to. I can only see Haggis going one at the back here, unless, of course, Chadze can play centre-back. So do they go 2 centre-backs, 1 DM? I blame the coaching, Mike. Hello to anyone new joining the Super League for the first time. It does appear our live viewing numbers are slightly higher than normal. Live chat is available if you'd like to get involved in everyone's favourite fantasy football nostalgia trip. And here comes the change. Like that. Yeah, lovely, thank you. You should do music requests, Fyfie. Well, again, I can't have any copyright music, otherwise we get in trouble for playing it. But more than happy if anyone wants to send me some free music to fire it up and add it to the playlist. Mike, would you like to do anything? Yeah, no worries. There you go. There's your team. This screams out Mido injury time winner. Absolutely screams Mido injury time winner. He's got absolutely nothing in that AM line, so get Sand off. Let Medina play the role on his own. Get Mido on. Score you an injury time winner. Why not? Got Gary Neville and Nicholas Medina both rating 9. Oh wow, okay. So, Pinto off for Mido. Mido up top with Sigalko. And Savage AM. Presume David central, Mike? Beauty's in the eye of the beholder, Tato. I'm sure even I'm attractive to somebody. Here we go. So change is done, subs done. A few minutes left, only 2 minutes being added on. And it's Haggis coming forward. Now on the counter, Savage. Free kick, Sigalko. David, Sigalko. Mido! Oh, I thought he'd done it. Davids! Oh, he has done it! Davids from distance has scored the winner for Stanley, surely. Is there one last chance? Sands fouled. Free kick, Sigalko. And there's the final whistle. Edgar Davids with a 90th minute winner for Stanley. Massive result for them. And boy, did they deserve that. Mike asked earlier how they weren't 5-0 up. You look at those stats, you could kind of understand it. Gary Neville picking up man of the match. He rated 9. Medina kept his 9 rating as well in a game where Stanley looked very, very impressive. Looking at Haggis, Del Vecchio 5, unlike him. 2 red cards didn't help. Certainly makes team selection next time round very interesting. Next penultimate game of the night, Badgers entertaining LSK, who, after beating Northern Burn 3-1 last time out, go unchanged. Badgers without Okoronkwo, without Desai. Saviola on an orange injury gets a place only on the bench. Valgaran comes in. Zanoni drops into DM with the line shuffling around. Agahawa out on the right wing. Roberts continues to partner Rossini. And Souza are getting called up from the reserves. This is possibly the most unfit subs bench I have seen in a long, long time. It is a 49%. I thought it was 90. Oh, dear me. Ooh. Penultimate game of the night then. Badgers versus LSK. Let's see what happens. Oh, music. Halftime comes 0-0. Badgers have had 3 times the amount of attempts, 3 times the amount on target. And he's already saying 0-1 incoming. Christ, we have humped these here, he says. You have? You have? Just failed to score. Maybe a semi-fit Saviola is the answer. Everyone rating 7 or above with the exception of Rossini, who's on 6. Cmsl Roberts rating 9 at the break. LSK is not quite as good reading. Bartes, the only player above a 7. 1, 2, 3, 7 of the starting 11 on 6s. Well, I'm glad you woke up, Martin. This is the penultimate game. A riveting affair. Tato going as is. Jamie isn't going to be here, so we will carry on. Badgers take the lead, and it is Rossini with the goal. Pompey up to a 9 rating. Nobody below a 7. Valgarin, the only man in the book. Conditions are missed, so I don't know why I pressed that button. Sorry, Tato. Just while Tato makes a decision for when Jamie watches this back, I'm on a 5. Just sums it up, really, doesn't it? Do Badgers do anything with 25 minutes remaining on the clock? They are ahead. Let's run it as is, please. Wanted to give Sousa a run out, but Rossini saved his own bacon at the end there. No worries. We're at the end of the final game. Don't disappear straight away as we confirm details for next season in the Super League. All the games have been tight, really, going into the end. I don't think any of them have been over and done with. There's the final whistle. Badgers with a big 1-0 win and a much-deserved 1-0 win. They have absolutely pulverised the opposition here. Really, the only question is, how did they only win by 1? It's easy. Oh, let's try this properly. Cmsl Roberts getting man of the match. Nicky Butt as well, very impressive. Both of them rating 9s, along with Valgarin, Zanoni, and Klompe. Bartes also got a 9, but he was the only player to really put up anything that resembled a fight. It certainly wasn't a repeat performance from LSK. This was a complete opposite of what they did last time out. And that means we conclude with the Slough Studley game. Just a reminder of how the two teams line up. And away we go for the final game of the evening. So we just before the break, we get an injury for Sloths, and it is Rivaldo who is going off. I imagine Rosicky will be a straight swap here for Alf. Yeah, Rosicky on, no worries. Let's just see that through to half time. Lovely. Sloths creating a lot more than their visitors in that first half, and are ahead in 2 of the 3 main performance criteria. Just in the air, they are struggling a little bit. Adilson on a 5 stands out. Lots of 7s, a couple of 6s, but yeah, that Adilson 5. No one in the book, and nobody below, or nobody at least that's still on the pitch, below the 88% of Etsabaria. As for Dudley Hill, whose manager said it seemed a crazy half. They also have a 5. Olivier Decor, that's unlike here. Everyone else rating is 7, with the exception of Volodenkov, Sorchinsky, and Rustico, all on 6s. The former there, Rustico mentioned, he's the only player in the book. Nobody below 91% condition. This one is called Dance Pop and is what is played at the start of Fools Rush In episodes. Okay, so here come the changes. Starting with the home side. Move at Dealson Central with City right, no worries. Dudley Hill. Percy on for Decor. Swap with Cole. No worries. Let's continue the game to 60. And Adilson had a chance. And then 10 minutes flies by, nothing happening. So we pause the game there on 70 minutes. And let's have a look at what's going on. Adilson still on a 5, despite being more involved. Conditional wise, still don't have to worry about. Taribo West is in the book. As for Dudley Hill, their ratings certainly improved. Abbiati and Comandini both on 8s. Everyone else on the pitch for them on a 7. Rustico has been joined by substitute Hersey in the book. And again, at least for my mind, nothing to worry about conditionally. Steve has gone as is, no worries, thank you. It's just whether Alf does anything or not. Alf's going with a tactical tweak. Etsabaria and Rosicky swapping sides, no worries at all. Oh, there's another red card. Rustico's been sent off late in the game. Wow, wow, wow. How does this change things? Does Alf go uber attacking for the last 5 minutes? Does Steve go one at the back? Or does he change things around? Ooh, Woodgate is going one at the back. And Alf was plying Adilson up top right. Well, let's see how this plays out. Trezeguet, Abiati with a save. Warnes, Jonsson, Etzeberria, Van Bommel though, tries to get his team on the counter. But Warnes, Woodgate does well. Into injury time. Is there one last chance? Baronio, Zidane, Etzeberria, free kick, Adilson. Trezeguet, but Cole picks up. Cole. And nobody can get the shot away. And in the end, the game ends 0-0. Congratulations to both sides there for playing out a very entertaining conclusion. Match stats, some good results for the badgies tonight, says Tato. Very, very true. Martin called it shocking. Christian Warnes picks up man of the match. Adilson just could not improve his rating tonight, whatever Alf tried to do. And Zidane continues to be the most beige player in the history of Super League. Dudley, looking at those ratings, slightly unfortunate not to win it, but then Sloths did create more chances. So that takes us then to the classifieds on a very low-scoring night in the Super League. Unfortunate, given that our viewership seems higher than usual. It's normally more entertaining than this, I promise. But we had Badgers 1, LSK 0, Exiles 0, East Coast 0. Northern Burn, Foss Road and Sloths Dudley finished 0-0. Stackington, the only team to score more than one tonight, as they beat Sancte 2-1. Haggis lost 1-0 away at Stanley, and top of the table Vikings drawing 1 apiece. That leaves the table looking like this. Vikings top 43. The gap closes to 6, Badgers on 37. They have a 3-point gap over Northern Burn 34, who are a point ahead of Stanley 33. 2 ahead of Haggis 31, who are a point ahead of Coast on 30. That concludes the top 6 for tonight. Sancte in 7th, also on 30. 2 points ahead of Exiles, Sloths and Stackington, all on 28. Then they have a 2-point gap over Foss Road and Dudley on 26. Fulchester in 13th on 18. 3 points ahead of Rock Bottom LSK. All tonight has done is make that race for the top 6 so much tighter. I mean, I'm looking here at Dudley Hill in 12th on 26, and they're only 5 points behind Haggis in 5th. We have got one hell of an end. Next round of games will be on Sunday. East Coast entertaining Badgers, massive. Exiles hosting Stackington, huge. Foss Road, Dudley Hill, massive. Haggis Northern Burn, huge. LSK Fulchester is the battle of the bottom as well. Every single game is absolutely gigantic on Sunday. I cannot wait. Oofed. I think is the only way to describe Sunday's fixtures. And just to conclude, there was the vote on the future of the Super League. And by an overwhelming margin, really, people decided that they wanted to see Martin's proposal as the one put forward. So I can confirm the details now of that, having honoured the result of the public vote and then spoken to all of those involved. So the structure will remain the same. It's the current save. The current save will continue. It will be moving to one guaranteed show per week. That will be, well, I suppose let's go for it. So one guaranteed show per week, continuing with the existing save file. The transfers will become unlimited The only rule is once a player has been signed, they cannot be sold on again in that season. Assistants and co-managers welcome, co-coms encouraged. And then the big thing and what people have been unsure about is what happens to the chairmanship. So I have taken some time to reflect on what I've managed to do since taking it back on, and more importantly, what I've not managed to do and the areas where I've failed. I've spoken to Martin as it's his proposal, and what we've agreed is prior to any of this conversation, Martin had expressed an interest in becoming or in getting another opportunity as a manager. So what I have agreed is that for next season, I will carry on, but under the rules of Martin's structure that got voted on. So there will be one guaranteed show per week. That will be on a Thursday night, with optional Sundays depending on what I'm doing. All the other rules will be in place. Martin will be given one of the 2 vacant managers' roles. And I know there are some managers who had said that if I was to have gone, then their situation might change, or if other people come in, their situation might change. So for those who might have a tinge of disappointment that I'm going to carry on for one more year, I apologise, but it seemed the fairest way because Martin's never had a properly fair crack as a manager. And the agreement is that at the end of next season, Martin will take over unless his side don't make the playoffs, and then he will take over for the playoffs. And I will hang up, as I said earlier, the sheepskin coat and the microphone for good. And I will ride off into the Super League sunset. I have no intention of taking a club. That will be me. That will be me done. I've been involved in every season in some capacity, and it's now definitive that season 16 will be my last. As the Super League moves on to, well, I suppose ventures old and new, I suppose. So I hope to do it justice for however long I'm left in. But so yes, that is the plan. It will be Martin's proposal. I will run it, and yeah, that's all there is to it, I think. Thank you very much for joining tonight. What I would do actually is encourage all the remaining managers who maybe haven't said yes or no for definite to now tell me ASAP, so that we can advertise if there's going to be more than 2 positions become available. And equally, if any current managers want to apply for any of the upcoming available roles and you'd like to leave your team and then your team becomes available, also let me know. Hopefully that's clear enough, but I realise I'm probably rabbiting on now. It is coming up 10 to 11. Thank you very much to everyone for watching tonight, and I will see you again on Sunday. Good night.